Hello there! Yesterday's episode, Diamond Hunting, was more or less the equivalent of having to eat your cabbage before being allowed pudding. But today, we found our diamonds, and so, it's all about the pudding. I'm going to build a Beealyzer. But first, I do need to make a quick new item, which is glass panes, which you just make out of glass blocks like that, and then you get a whole bunch of them. So that's our glass panes. Now, we're using our old friend, the carpenter device. Well, I call it an old friend. We never actually managed to make anything with it, but it's quite a clever gizmo. You just put all the ingredients you want down in the bottom here, and then you just tell it what the recipe is. You're not dropping the items in there. It's just remembering it. And those are tin ingots along the side there, and glass panels. And there we go. Oh, it is actually working. I didn't think it would be getting enough power yet, but it looks like it is. You can also put liquid in along the right. And I've got 3 buckets worth of water in. I'll just put another one in. And there we go. You see it just goes up again. But let's give this a bit of a spin to get some more power going in. I moved the clockwork engine over here. There we go. That should move a little faster now, one would hope. It doesn't really seem to be going any faster. Well, it's taken a few minutes, but it's almost done. When it's done, I'm going to put more or less the same ingredients in again, but copper ingots instead, and make a Beealyzer. But I won't stick around for that, because I'm going to have a new toy to play with. I'm quite excited. Finally, I can begin my career of bee breeding. Oh, any moment now. Any moment. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll just pop these in here, and that'll be the Beealyzer. Alright, let's have a little look at this then. What I'm going to need is some honey drops, which I've got an ample quantity over here, and some bees. But bees I want to analyse. How are you doing in here? Okay, these are my rocky bees. These should have the standard genome for a rocky bee, because I haven't bred them with anything in particular yet. So we just put the honey in there. I put the rocky princess in here, and as you can see, the bee is now analysed. I can let's see, because it's a purebred bee. Its active and inactive genes are going to be identical. So as you can see, let's see, shorter lifespan, slowest speed, slowest pollination, but one of the good things about it is that it doesn't need flowers, it just needs rocks, so you can use it almost anywhere. Its fertility is terrible. You just get 1 drone, which means that you never get any more bees, really. That's the area it can pollinate, 9 by 6 by 9. Effect none, which is often a good thing, because the tropical bees, for instance, the tropical bees have an effect, and it's not a very nice one. As you can see, I've put this one bee through 18 rounds of breeding with its own drones so far. It's climate normal, humidity normal, temperature tolerance 1. Nocturnal's very good though. Cave is good. Diurnal means diurnal means it's active in the day. Nocturnal means it's active at night. And if you've got both, that's good, because that means they're working twice as often. Possible speciality. Oh, that's the rocky comb. And these are all the potential mutations. The green arrows mean it's more common, and the orange and the red, there aren't any red, but if there was a red one, that'd be the rarest. And you'll discover the mutations either by trial and error, or there are devices for working it out. And what's the final one? If only I could find them rolling bees, then I could get some good music, says the mysterious apiarist. Okay, so that's everything you need to know about a rocky. That's the standard rocky bee genome. Now, if I put this drone in, it would have exactly the same genes, I should imagine. So I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is run around and analyse a few more bees, and I'll catch up with you in a moment. Right, I've analysed examples of all the different mundane bees now, and I've created my new bee lab. over here with a little window. There's flowers out there. If I just look up, so this is an apiary. If you're going to do bee breeding with the intent of making new species, you don't want to be using bee houses. They won't work. You need to use an apiary. I can't make apiaries yet, but if you recall, I stole these from a village, and that's your best bet for finding them early on. I will be able to make them fairly soon. Now, the bees that you can breed here depend on your climate. You need a queen that's going to be able to cope. So I'm going to use a meadows bee. Meadows bees and forest bees are almost identical, except trait-wise. Except forest bees have one extra drone child. But I figure I may as well just use up my meadow ones. So what I'm going to try is crossing a meadows princess, which they're very, very unremarkable bees. And this is going to be not work terribly well on video, to be honest. But so I'm going to do a blog post about this as well tomorrow. But yes, the meadows bee can handle a normal climate, which is the most useful thing about it, really. Whereas the modest drone, I'm going to use the modest drone, which is basically the desert bee. Is more or less the same, except it has some temperature and humidity tolerances, and it's nocturnal. So if I can snag any of those traits, it's all going to be. It's like breeding. How the genes end up getting mixed up, we shall see at the time. One thing that's worth knowing is that red genes are dominant and blue are recessive. Now, because all these bees have both of their alleles are the same, it doesn't really matter, but it will in a moment once we start breeding. So I'm going to put the meadows princess in and a modest drone, and they will mate. And then I will just pull the queen out because she's not going to be able to start doing anything yet anyway. So let's see what the queen looks like genetically. Oh, okay, she doesn't change. She just keeps the same genome. It'll be her. Well, of course it does, because yes, that makes perfect sense, because the queen is just the princess, having mated. So of course her genes won't have changed, but her progeny will have the genes of both the meadows queen and the modest drone. So I just need to wait for daylight, because of course she's not nocturnal, and see what happens. Right, the bees have run their course. I had to move the apiary a little further out because meadow bees don't have the cave trait. They need the sky directly above them. I don't know whether glass would have been a problem or not, but there's a rock overhang, which will be dealt with. But let's see what we've got. We have two new. Well, the bees have mutated. We have a common princess, a common drone, and a meadows drone. Now, when you cross pretty much any mundane bee, you run a chance of getting a common bee. They are the way into the whole bee tree of species. But let's analyze them in more detail. I am going to put all this on my in the blog post. I'm working on a little picture. But let's look at the princess first, because she's most important. Oh, well, most of the differences were over here anyway. Hasn't turned out particularly great. But then again, when you change species, often a lot of traits. The common species has a set of traits as well, so not everything will carry over. But I'll have to compare and contrast. Oops. Right. This drone, on the other hand, has kept some traits from the meadows bee. So that's good. It's kept the slower pollination. It's inactive. It's a recessive gene, but it might come in useful later. Yes, they haven't kept any of the temperature tolerance. I was hoping to keep that. And this meadows bee is this meadows bee also has some traits it's gained. But and this meadows bee has managed to snag the tolerances. That makes the Meadows drone I've ended up with actually probably more useful than the Commons bees. That's interesting. I'll have to see what I can do with that. And it has kept Nocturnal as a recessive gene, which could come into play later on. I guess it's a hybrid. I think this is what they call a hybrid bee. But at any rate, it can produce two different sorts of honeycomb. And there, because I've done the breeding, it now shows the Meadows bee can turn into a common bee. Although it does appear that the Meadows bee can turn into all manner of other things. Though I think it might also have some modest bee mutations in there as well, because it's a hybrid. Anyway, I'll put a chart up showing all these traits on my website. So this is the first time I've done it myself, so I'm sort of my brain is chugging slowly away trying to comprehend it all. Oh yes, I think I see it now. The princess mutated on both her alleles, so she's now a purebred common bee, whereas the other two are hybrids. So I'm not quite. I'm gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to think about how this works for later on. Because not all. Because if the traits are reset when it changes species, that could get complicated. But I guess then you just mutate them again, or sorry, just breed them and hybridize the traits that way. This is going to take a lot. This is a deep system that's going to take a lot of getting used to. But I'm going to get the hang of this. It's a few Minecraft days later, and understanding and comprehension are beginning to grow. Slowly. I've tried a few more crossbreeds, and a bit of back crossing. And it really is going to take a very long time to fully understand the depths of this system. The bee breeding, of course, is from Forestry by Sir Sengir, with a bit of help from Extra Bees by Binny. The Rocky Bees are from Extra Bees, and I haven't used them yet, but over here I have a bunch of bees from Magic Bees by Mysterious Ages. Those are mostly bees that tie in with Thorncraft and Ars Magica, and I think a couple of other mods, but it escapes me. I think he's planning on adding Natura support. But anyway, those are the three mods that you really ought to have if you want to get into bee breeding. You need Buildcraft as well, really, just for fueling the machines. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. And of course, I haven't even started on the tree breeding yet. I've got my Treealyzer ready to go, so I might do that in one of the upcoming episodes. And anyway, as usual, if you've got any questions about any of this, do let me know, either on my blog. My blog's the best place, really, to ask me anything important, because you know what YouTube comments threads can get like sometimes. If you enjoyed this video, do please hit the like button, because it fills me with immense glee and joy. And like a bee, because bees are joyful creatures too. Where was I going with that? Oh yes, you can follow me on Twitter at Arcanor, and my blog has a build page with a list of all the mods I'm using, with links to their forum threads. But anyway, I think that's enough for one day. My brain is spinning from all the deep thought. I'll see you next time.